Okay, so this time I'm aiming on converting this image into a line drawing in Illustrator. So I've brought it straight in here because I just want to showcase a problem before I actually dive into the solution. And that's if I actually do an image trace and make, it will dice up bits and pieces and it'll look fairly horrible. Even if I go into the trace elements, I might be able to save this by adjusting the threshold, either down or up. Oops, that's a little too much. But there's still breaks in the image and the edges and stuff. So that's not an ideal solution, but the threshold stuff will cover a lot of it. But we need to actually just tidy up the little corners of the image. And this is where a trick with Photoshop comes in, because in Photoshop, you can actually adjust the levels, and there's a couple of things you can do here. The first is either go for an image adjustment straight up on the levels, or layer adjustment if you want to be non-destructive. And I'll just go OK. That will then bring up this properties menu. And what I can do is I can adjust those levels to clean up the image so that things look a little crisper and there's less noise. And this is really good for hand sketched images and that sort of stuff, which is why I'm showing it to you. So I'm just going to minimize that and slide it out of the way. The next thing is we may actually want to have to go back in here and just touch up things with the brush. So this is a fairly grainy image, but you can see around here there's bits and pieces that just haven't worked. So this is a matter of going on this layer, and now because non-destructive, I'm just going to duplicate that background layer, and then I can start doctoring my image. And so here I've got the standard brush, I'm going to switch it over to black and white, so it's black. And then I can just, close off those little bits and pieces, because when it's scanned in, obviously it hasn't carried the full image. And since it's a black and white line drawing, it's not that difficult to tidy up the edges, so it might be a case of sliding around. Now, something that'll make your job a little easier to do this is the info? No, it's not the info. There should be, is it history or is it, no, it's navigator. Navigator. So I'm just going to grab this and just slot it into the top here and slide everything else out of the way, because the navigator is actually really, really good, because then, so I want to tidy up this bit, and I'm just going to just bloop, and I'm going to hover around and go, well, what else do I need to do around here? And I can easily trace the outline of the image and go, oh yeah, I need to fix that bit, this bit, all right, cool. And that way you can navigate around and actually interrogate your image reasonably quickly. So yeah, and so it might be, I'll just tidy up those bits and that sort of stuff, just to make things work a little better in terms of the image. Now, because I'm making these adjustments, spacebar to just grab and slide the image around, that should be good. So file, save as, I'm going to give it a version number. Now this is a PSD. I can actually do it as a PSG from memory, but we'll just double check it. I'll just throw it as a JPEG. And I'm just going to go, well, this is the modified version, 22nd 03 16. So all I've done is the date in reverse order, because it's a great way of just tracking what you've done, and go OK for maximum detail. I'm also going to save it as a, oops, just wait for it to finish. File, save as a standard PSD, but again with that reverse date. Because if you've got like multiple versions of the same image, you can then track, well, when did you modify this and stuff. Some people add version numbers, other people do the reverse date. So I'm just going to get rid of this thing. And then I'm going to look in here and go, oh, I've got my multiple versions. Now, the first, of course, is you can grab the standard image and just drop it in there. It will generate a new image. No, I don't want to save that one. Of this thing. Or alternatively, and hopefully this actually works, you can drop in a Photoshop file and it can flatten to a single layer, it can hold on to additional information, which makes your life a little bit easier. And because you've linked to the actual Photoshop file, you can actually modify some bits. So you can notice here the hair's tidied up on the top, and so hopefully this will work. So going back down to image trace, whoops, select it first, then go to image trace. The rest of the tutorial will be the same as the previous one. I need to actually open up the appropriate window to go image trace, and then look at that threshold and bring it up a fair bit at a guess. And there you can see it. Now, that's obviously not perfect, but it's actually pretty close to something I'd be happy with. So there, and then of course I would go image, make and expand, close this off. And hopefully what this has done is tidy up a lot of these things. Now, again, you'll notice here, just like in one of the earlier examples, these two things don't join, but if I just go object ungroup, this path is all one path, and I just want to connect the two ends of it. So it will break here, but hopefully I can go that, and then go object join. This is where it chucks the hizzy fear at me and says, no, you can't do that. But I'd then go back to the original image and just fix that up. So I'd jump back into Photoshop and go, okay, well that bit obviously hasn't worked for me. Oh yeah, I missed it, obviously, great. So here I'd brush it over. That's probably a little too much, so let's just do a little bit like that. Save that, go back to here. Now I may actually be able to refresh this image, I don't know. So I have no idea how to do that because I haven't done this sort of stuff before or in a long time. So get rid of the PSD. No, I don't want to save. Oh, I could have reverted. That would have been an easy solution. But grabbing that image, dropping it back in here, it goes, oh, do you want these options? I go, just give me the options. And there, that thing's closed up now. So this time when I do the object trace, set the threshold to something appropriate, it should give me what I want. And that is the quick version of this tutorial. And there you can see that little bit's closed up, and obviously I'd go through and check other stuff as well. Then expand it, and then I can obviously follow the rest of the tutorial from the previous one I gave you, which is basically just colouring in the bits and pieces. But I'll leave that with you for next time. Well, for the previous time. Anyhow, enjoy.